Hello students, this is Taranum Jahan. Hope you all are well over there. So today we are going to start with a new chapter from your economics. So here we are with your chapter 3 from the NCERT for the class 9th and from the subject economics, poverty as a challenge. Now here we are going to study why poverty as a challenge, why we call it a poverty a challenge. And we are going to discuss in this chapter the two typical cases of poverty with reference to the urban and the rural areas. Then we are going to discuss what is poverty, how it is seen by the social scientist, then the social exclusion, vulnerability, poor poverty line, then poverty estimate, then vulnerable group, then interstate disparity, causes of poverty, anti poverty measures, and the challenges ahead we are facing due to poverty. So let's see what is poverty first. Now, what is poverty? When we are not able to meet the basic needs or a lack of nutritional basic needs is called poverty. It can be anything like clothes, food, house, etc. When we are not able to afford this, then the person is called as the person living in poverty. So, the poverty is when we are not able to meet the basic needs of our life. The basic needs is nothing but the food, clothes, and shelter. If we are not able to afford even then, afford this, then it is called as poverty. Now, what is poverty line? Poverty line, it is a benchmark which defines the poverty. This can be decided by the prices of the basic needs as per the government rates, like the prices of food, clothes, plus home, plus water, plus other basic needs like electricity, etc., is equal to poverty line. If the person is able to pay for all this, then the person is above the poverty line. If the person is not able to pay for all this basic needs, then the person is said to be below the poverty line. So the common method used to measure the poverty is based on the income and the consumption. Like if the person is able to earn certain income, then he will definitely consume this all basic needs. If the person is not earning the income, then he will definitely not able to meet all these basic needs. And the person who is not able to meet all these basic needs is said to be below the poverty line. And if the person is able to meet all the basic needs and even earning the income in order to earn this basic need, then the person is said to be above the poverty line. So it is a benchmark which decide the person whether it is a below poverty line or above poverty line. So, in order to understand what is poverty and what is poverty line and why the people in India are suffering with the poverty even in the urban areas and the rural areas, you have to understand the two typical stories which have been given in your textbook. So, the first story that is regarding the urban poverty we are talking about, and this is a story of Ram Saran. I'll just give you the outline of this story. Later on, you can read this story when you get the textbook. So the story of Ram Saran says that Ram Saran is residing in the urban area, and Ram Saran is working in a wheat mill, and he even gets a salaries which is low to look after his family and feed his family, as he is having a family of around 4 to 5 members, and plus he has to send certain sum of money to the father who is residing in the village, who is waiting every month for the Ram Saran to send some money. So he's residing in the village. Plus, having in an urban area, he has to reside in the urban areas. So living in urban areas is very expensive. So he has to pay the expensive, might be a rent, even buying any of the essential commodities over here might be an expensive one than compared to the rural areas. So with the rent and the expenses to be paid, even the Ramsaran uh, has to face all these problems. That is an expensive, and living in the urban area is a very difficult situation, for the rural people to reside in the rural areas on rent. Plus even his wife works in the field or might be she's working as a domestic worker. See, if you can see the picture, she's working as a domestic worker in the houses by doing some domestic work in the houses, and even she's earning as a domestic workers of around might be she's getting around 800 rupees per month. And the if you see the photograph, even his elder son, he's working in a tea stall, and even might be he's earning around 300 rupees per month. So because of the poverty, all the members of the family are earning over here in order to feed the family, and in order to reside in the urban area. Even Ram Saran is working, wife is working as a domestic worker, plus his elder son is working as a tea staller. Yeah, might be is working as a tea earning in a tea stall, earning for around 300 rupees. So they are not at all earning luxurious life. They have to feed the family, but still, if you can see that none of the child is going to the school, all the children are at home, no one is going for an education, plus the father is ill. So even in the urban areas, you can find the poverty because might be because of the expensive commodities, rent. Though the people are running, but still these people are not able to feed the family. So this is what we have seen, the urban poverty. Though the person is residing in the urban area, though he is working, the complete family is working, but still the person is earning a poverty life. Why the person is earning a poverty line, this we will discuss. Now this is the case of urban area poverty. Now we will discuss regarding the rural area poverty, how the rural people are suffering with the poverty. Now this is the story of Lakha Singh, who is residing in the rural area. Now the Lakha Singh is working in the farm for about 50 rupees per day, and work is and if the work, if he is working in the farm, you know it very well that this is a temporary work, because for the few months you will definitely find a disguised unemployment over here. For a few months you don't have to work in the farm because to gain the fertility of the soil. So this is a temporary work. Then later on the other months he is unemployed. So the father is and the person, this Lakha Singh, is having a father, and even he is ill, he is having a TB, and even the mother is also ill, an aged person. So this both the people are the aged one, and both are ill. And so whenever he was working, wherever he was working, they used to pay him a kind of some harvest crops too, like plus though he is earning 50 rupees per month, but even though for a kind of work, for a humanity's sake, the person where he was working used to pay him some harvest crops too. Like if he is having around 1 ton of the rice, half of the ton he used to give it to the Lakhan Singh, that go and feed your family with this. So in this way, just humanity purpose, sometimes even a harvest crop was given as a gift to Lakha Singh. But still, even the wife is also working by cutting a fodder for the cattle in the same farm field, if you can see. So here, even the wife is working, Lakha Singh is working, but still they are leading a poverty life. Though he is getting certain humanity purpose for, he is getting a harvest crops, but still he's not able to feed his family. You can see that the aged people, those who are sitting there, are ill. They are not having they are ill because of the loss of the malnutrition. Might be they are not able to have a nutritious food. They are just having it whatever is being given as a humanity to them, or by just 50 rupees earning per month, how can he give a uh, nutritional food to them? So both the mother and the father are ill, plus the children, they are not going for an education, health is not good, education they are not able to provide the education, health facilities they are not able to provide. So these are the basic needs of the family. And even the food, they are not able to earn the proper food. They have to lead the family on the humanity, that is whatever the, for a kind purpose, if the person is giving a harvest crop on that, the Lakha Singh is able to feed his family. So here, though the both the wife and husband are working, but still they are earning, leading a poverty life. So why there's a difference? See, even in the urban area the person is leading a poverty life, and even in the rural areas you can see the person is leading a poverty life. Now why these people are leading a poverty life? what are the causes for them to lead a poverty life, we'll discuss one by one. Now this is the story. You have been cleared that even in the rural areas you can find the poverty, and even in the urban areas the people are leading a life in a poverty. So now what are the causes for them to lead the life of the poverty? How can they uh, work on it and improve their life condition? So even that we'll discuss. So first we'll see the causes of the poverty. Now let's see the problem faced by the rural poor. Why these people are leading a poor life? The first one is landlessness. If they had their own land, they must have worked on it and they must have earned and feed their family. So now these people are not having the land, they have to work on the the person who is having a huge land and working on the low rates to be paid to them for the farms. So whatever the person is paying, they have to feed their family in that money itself. If they must have had their own land, they must have cultivated on the same land. They have sold those whatever they have cultivated on the land, and they must have got the good profits on it. But here these people are not having their own land, they are not working on their own land. That is the reason why they have to feed their family on the low uh, payments whatever been paid by the landlords to this Lakhan. Then you are having the next problem is of unemployment. They are unemployed. In the sense, this Lakha Singh is working in the farmland. So there are the chances that, see, there are, it is not exactly, it is not a chances. Usually you do find the unemployment in the farm areas for the 3 months. Disguised unemployment, as we have discussed it earlier, that we do find the disguised unemployment. The disguised unemployment is you have to wait for the fertility of the soil for the 3 months. Those 3 months you are not to be you don't have to cultivate anything on that land. Just plow it and keep it for some time so that the soil gains the fertility. So in order to wait for those period, that is a period of 3 months, and these 3 months they don't have any work. So this is a disguised unemployment. We call it as the disguised unemployment. The 3 months having no work in the farm field is a disguised unemployment. So this Lakha Singh is facing with unemployment, that is nothing but the disguised unemployment. Then the size of the families. Lakha Singh is having a huge family. If you see the picture, he's having more number of kids plus father, mother, wife, himself. So if he must have planned it for a small family, having a less kids in order to look after them properly. So even this is a main problem, that the size of the families are very big to feed. If they had a small family, they must have feed them with a nutritious food. But because the sizes are good enough to feed them, they are facing the problem of poverty. Then comes the illiteracy. They are not educated. If they must have been educated, they must have got the very good jobs. So even the illiteracy is playing a role for them in order to lead the life of poverty. Then malnutrition. Here, poor, they do not eat the nutritious food because whatever they are earning, they have to feed their family. Even if they look after the nutrition one, from where they are going to get it? Nutrition one. Because already a handful of money these people are getting. For that, they have to feed their family too and look after the other basic needs too. That is clothing, shelter, and electricity, water, each and everything. They have to pay the taxes for each and everything when they are leading a life. So with this basic necessities, they have to feed the families. So already they are having a handful of money in their hands. And on that, if we'll talk about the nutritious food, from where they are going to have it. So here, because of which they are facing a malnutrition problem. And because of this malnutrition problem, these people are not feeling a good health facilities. They are not getting a good health facilities. That is the reason why the parents are not feeling well. The Lakha Singh is father is having TB, and even the mother is not feeling well. So this is just because of the malnutrition. Then the child labor, because these people are not able to feed their family, though this wife and husband is working, they even involve their children to work in the farm fields. So they involve the child labors there. Instead of sending them to the school to have an education, they involve their child in the farm field so that even they can earn certain sum of money, might be 50 rupees, 30 rupees, 20 rupees a day. So even the child are being involved in the farm field, even the girls are being working in the farm field, though they have to go for this go to the schools or colleges, but still they are working in the farm field just because in order to earn at least 4 and 5 members will be earning, they can feed the family. Then helplessness, they always feel that no one can help us, we have to help ourselves, no one will come and help us, we have to feed our family by ourselves, so we have to see our way of life, how to lead the way of life, so we are helpless. So this is are the main problems that are faced by the rural poor. What are those? The landless, unemployment, size of the family, illiteracy, malnutrition, and child labor, helplessness. Now we'll see the problems that are faced by the urban poor. Last we have seen the problems that are faced by the rural poor. Now these are the some more indicators of poverty which are we see in the urban areas. So the first one is lack of proper housing facilities. That is nothing but the lack of shelter. That lack of unhygienic environment. That is nothing but the lack of sanitation, clean water facilities, etc. So, unhygienic environment, no social security schemes are there in urban uh, areas where they can feel themselves to be a secured one. Some schemes should be started by the government. So, there are no such kind of a social security schemes. There is no permanent job. You can be removed anytime from the job. So, the lack of regular job, no social security scheme is nothing but the lack of regular job. Then living with the sense of helplessness is even the problem with the urban poor. Then the lack of opportunity to the quality health education services. So even here in the urban poor, though these people are not able to feed their own families, how can they look after the education? In the case of the Ramsaran case, you have seen that none of the children is going to the school, they are working, the elder son is working in the tea stall, so they have in this Ramsaran has involved the child into the child labor instead of sending them to the school. So there's no proper, if they are not going to the school, how these people will have a good education, good knowledge of hygiene, and the quality of the life will also never improve if these people are leading the same kind of a life. And even the family is well in size of the Ramsaran. If you see in the urban area, a good size of the family is there for the Ramsaran too. So that is the reason why these people are suffering with the lack of health opportunities and plus the education services of, no, though it has been given by the government, but these people are not able to afford it, or it might be this just because to feed their family whatever they are earning is a quite not a good handful of money. That is the reason why they are involving their children even to work in the field or in any of the shops, so that even they can earn and have certain handful of money and buy and lead a good life, that is nothing but not a nutritional life, but at least they can feed their family properly. Because in the to live in the urban area you have to give the rent, even the commodities are very expensive in the urban areas. So in order to meet all these needs plus the basic needs and this need, the expensive one, the rent one, these are the extra things which when you people are residing in the urban area you have to look after all this. So in order to meet these needs too, the extra needs too, even the children are working in the urban areas. So that is the reason why the people there living in the urban areas are facing the problem of poverty. So these are the problems that are faced by the urban poor.
Poverty as seen by the social scientist. So the social scientist looks poverty through various indicators like the level of income and consumption, social indicators like illiteracy, lack of general resistance due to malnutrition, lack of access to the health care, lack of job opportunity, and lack of safe drinking water, sanitation, etc. So these are the some of the various indicators through which the social scientist looks through the why the people are suffering from poverty.
Now let's see the analysis of poverty based on the social exclusion and vulnerability. Now what is social exclusion? Social exclusion is nothing but throwing one of the community out of the society. This is usually done in India. We usually throw one of the community out of the society. They are just left out, and these people they have to live in the poor family. If these people live with our society, they'll definitely look after us, and they'll definitely think to develop their community. But if these people are indulged in living in the same society, then how these people are going to develop in the living standard? So we are the people who are responsible for these communities who are leading the life of the poor people. The people, we are forcing these poor people to live in the poor surrounding with the poor people and exclude them from enjoying the social equality. For example, we are having the caste system. This is the very good example of the social exclusion. This is the cause plus the consequence of the poverty. Now the vulnerability. Now vulnerability is nothing but because of this poverty, who are the most people who are affected in the family are the vulnerability community. And especially the people who are most affected by this poverty, especially the poor families, the women's, the girl child, the children's, because they are indulged in the child labor, the women are forced to do the work on the less wages. So these are the people who are most affected by the poverty. So the vulnerable group, we'll discuss it in the separate side heading. Who are these vulnerable group and how we can say that these are the people who are mostly affected by the poverty. Then comes the poverty line. As we have already discussed that this is the benchmark which is based on the income and the consumption level of the people. And the people is considered to be poor if these people are not able to meet the basic needs of the family, like the food, clothing, shelter, each and everything. But this poverty line varies from time to time. For example, right now we are having like in 2007 or 3, we have created a poverty line that if the person is able to earn the 1,000 rupees, they are above the poverty line. If the person is not able to earn the 1,000 rupees, then the person is below the poverty line. In the same manner, now we have decided this as per the Indian money. Now this varies from time and place. That means that like in USA, and if we compare with the India, then see in USA the person is poor if he's not having a car. But in India, though the person is having a car or not, this is not at all counted whether the person is poor or rich. So the poverty line varies from place to place. Here they always count in the dollars way. This is a good example. Like the person who is not having a car is a poor in USA, whereas a person who is not having a car in India is not poor. So in this way, the poverty line varies from time and place. So here even the earning changes. So like today, if we are calculating, see the poverty, this line varies from time to time also. Like today we are calculating the poverty line on the basis of 1,000 rupees. But if we are counting, that is the counting we have counted as per the 2002 or 2003 basis of annual data. But right now, if we are calculating the 2020 poverty line, 1,000 rupees is having no value now. Now we'll have the different rate of poverty line. Like if the person is able to earn around 3,000 rupees, then the person is above the poverty line. If the person is earning below the 3,000 rupees, then he is the below poverty line. So in this way, the poverty line varies from time and the place, and even like see the poverty line from time to place is nothing but the USA and India, and the time to time is nothing but the 2003 data then compared to the 2020 data. So in this way, the poverty line varies from time and place. So now the next is now estimation of poverty line in India. So while determining the poverty line in India, the minimum level of food requirement, clothing, footwear, fuel, light, education and medical requirement, etc. are determined for subsistence. That means that this person, at least they should have this minimum requirement. Whatever the income they are earning, the person should able to pay for this basic requirement which is needed in our daily life. And if the person is able to pay for all these basic needs, then the person is said to be the above poverty line. And if the person is not able to pay for this basic need, then the person is said to be the below poverty line. But human development does not mean that only consuming for the 3 time food. They should also fulfill these requirements too. Then only we can say that this is a human development. So now India, they have calculated the income of the person. As per the people, like there is a figure given about around 2000. As per 2000, the figure of a family of 5 members has been given that if the person is earning below, that is less than 1640 per month. This is the figure of 2000. Remember, during that period might be this money was much enough. So it has been said that as per 2000 figure, a family of 5 members, if that person is earning less than 1640 per month in the rural area, is considered to be below poverty line. So this was the benchmark of poverty line, that at least they should earn above 1640, might be the amount was around 2000. And in the urban area, it has been said that if the person is earning around 2270 per month, then the person in the urban area, especially, if then it is said to be the person living above the poverty line. Now, in order to, there is one more condition where the government has considered that the calories that are consumed by both the urban and the rural people, how much calories has to be consumed by both the urban and the rural people, so that to be because the complete poverty line even calculate the health of the person. So in order to have a perfect health, in order to work hard, in order to gain the good income plus the consumption, the person should have certain kinds of calories per day. So as per the government, the person should intake 2400 calories per person in rural areas. They are saying that the person at least should take 2400 calories in the rural areas, whereas in urban area the person should have around 2100 calories. Now, why there is a difference between the consumption of the calories regarding the rural and the urban area? This may be due to the rural area, they require more calories because they work hard for the whole day and burns lot of calories every day. So they have, so as per they have to consume the much of the calories. Whereas in the urban areas, mostly they do the collar job. They sit in the ACs hard. They hardly burn their calories. That is the reason why for the urban areas less calories have been given as compared to the urban and the rural areas. In the similar way, in the above example, if we see that the amount, the variation of the amount is there, how much the amount has to be earned by the urban and the rural areas as per the figure given in the 2000. Why there is a variation? Might be the because in the basic products in the rural areas are cheaper than compared to the urban areas. Urban areas have this basic product very expensive. So that is the reason why there is a variation in the amount even as per to be uh, earned by this rural and the urban people. Similar way, in order to eat the given calories, in order to intake this given calories, the person should earn certain amount of money. That money is been determined, that is the benchmark was determined, one more benchmark, because that was the above mentioned was the 2000 figure. Now we are monetary expenditure per capita needed for buying this calories requirement as per 2009 and 10. The government has set the benchmark, that is a poverty line, that they have fixed certain amount for the rural and the urban areas. And what is that? They said that in 2009 and 10, the person who is earning the rupees 673 per month for the rural area is said to be above the poverty line. In the same manner, if the person who is earning around 860 rupees in the urban area for per month is said to be above the poverty line. So this poverty line is broadly estimated. Periodically, the surveys are being done by NSSO. These are the people who determine the poverty line, the benchmark, the amount that has to be settled down in order to know how much the population is living above the poverty line and the below poverty line. This all is done by NSSO. This is nothing but the National Sample Survey Organization. Now, this is the Indian capital. According to the Indian rupees, we are saying that this is what the amount has to be earned by the Indian people. But as per the international poverty line, because there is a, in the dollars even we calculate, as per the international poverty line, they said that at least the person should earn $1.9 per month. Only those persons are said to be above the poverty line, and if the person is earning less than $1.9, then the person is said to be below poverty line. Now if you look at the table carefully, you will see that how the poverty line is substantially decreasing. So here I just want to add one more thing else. The data given over here may varies from the textbook to textbook, because some people are following the new textbook, some may follow the new old textbook. So according to that the data varies. So don't worry about the data. The only thing is that you should be very clear with the concept. Might be they only the numbers are different, but the concept is same. So don't get confused with your data in your textbook and my data which has been given over here. So it varies from textbook to textbook, and again I'm saying it. So here if you look at the table carefully, this is given as the estimates of poverty in India. So we are estimating the poverty line in India as per the Ministry of Finance has been done this survey in 2002 to 3. So here if we see the poverty ratio in the percentage, the combined one, in 1994 to 74, our poverty line was around 54.9%, the poverty ratio. Whereas in 1993 to 94, it has been decreased to 36.0%. So here there's a rapid decrease. Then in 1999 again we have decreased to 26.1%. So if we continues the same decrease, the substantial decrease in the poverty line, then we will definitely come down to less than 20% in the next few years. It has been said by the Ministry of Finance as per the data given over here. Then if we see the number of poor people, in the number of poor people in millions, if we say that rural and urban combined data has been given. So here if we see the combined data, the rural and urban poor people in millions, it were around 321 millions. But whereas in 1993 and 94, it has been decreased to 321 millions. And by 99, it has been decreased to 260 millions. So by this we are slowly developing and we are coming up from the poverty line. So by the next few years we'll definitely clear this poverty line, and very soon we are going to be above poverty line with the complete population. Vulnerability. Now what is vulnerability? Is nothing but the people who are mostly affected by this poverty line. So usually the mostly affected people due to this poverty line are the women who are paid less than compared to the men's, workers, beggars, the people living in the less developed areas, and the people living in the slums areas are mostly affected by this. And even the scheduled caste and the scheduled tribe people, those who are completely thrown out of the society, who are not added in the society, they are being forced to live with the people, the poor people who are not added in the development of the equality, where we are not where we don't show them the social equality, we don't show the development. They are being forced to live in the society where the poor people live. So these are the vulnerability people, those who are mostly affected by this poverty line. And if you see the graph, you will understand that from all over the country, only 22% of the people are living below poverty line. We are calculating this overall country. Only 22% of the people are living below poverty line. Whereas in the group wise, if we see out of 100%, let's calculate that out of 100%, the scheduled tribes might be or scheduled caste, let's take 100% one. Out of that 100%, around 51% of the population is living below the poverty line. Whereas here if we see the urban casual laborers in the social groups are nothing but the scheduled caste and the scheduled tribe. The urban casual laborers, around 50% of the population of the urban casual labor are living under the below poverty line. And if we see the rural agricultural labor in India, 47% of the population are living below poverty line. And scheduled caste, if we see only the scheduled caste people, those who are thrown out of the society, are be around 43% of the population are living around below poverty line. And the average Indian poverty, that is total poverty. If we are seeing the complete Indian poverty, then compared to all the income groups, that is scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, or high income or a low income, then if we compare that, around 26% of the population are the people living below poverty line. But if we see the caste wise, then we get to know that how bad the situation is. 50, 51, 47, 43 as per the caste group if we see, and overall it is around 26% of the population those who are living below poverty line. The vulnerable group can be explained to you in the form of a story of Shivaram. Then we will come to know that how these people were suffering. Shivaram is a landless farmer and he works under the big farmland owner. He belongs to a cobbler caste. So now the two things in order to join in our vernacular group is, first he is landless plus the caste. Now the problem over here is he is having 8 members in the family, and out of which mom is always ill. So here you come to know that there is no proper medical facility has been provided in this family. That is the reason why the mother is ill. Then he is having one sister who is around 25 years of age and she is unmarried and living with him. And Shivaram has 4 kids, out of which 3 are female child and 1 is a male child. And all these children are under the age group of 1 to 15 years. And none of the child goes to school. Only Shivaram is working, and even the wife is also working in the farm field, but in the farm you do have a disguised unemployment. So Shivaram gets 160 rupees for working in the farm, whereas his wife gets 100 rupees to work in the farm for the same work. So here there is a disparity between the payments. Women are being paid less than compared to the men, and girl is not given an education. So here you educate because he is saving. According to the if you read the story, you will get to know that Shivaram is saving for the boy. He wanted the boy child to be get educated rather than the girl child. That's the reason why the girl child is not being sent to the schools, because he is saving for the boy child. He will look after the family, plus he is saving that later on whenever the boy gets to the age, he will definitely send him to the school and he'll have a good education for the boy child. Sometimes Shivaram gets milk in the family, but all should get the nutrition. But here only that milk is given to the male child, because there is a disparity between the gender here. They are discriminating the gender. To the girl child they are not giving the importance, to the boy child, that is a male child, the importance have been given. And from this you can even understand that why the Shivaram is having 3 male child and 1 boy child, that to a 1 year. That boy is of 1 year. Might be because he was looking for a boy child. For that he has increased the population. Till then he got a male child. So through this you may know that how the women get affected. So here the next condition, how the this vulnerable groups have been affected. Here the women have been affected. No education to them, no proper nutrition, there is no proper health facility to them. Though they are working in the farm field, they are paid less. So in this way you get to know that how the women are being affected by this poverty line and the disparity between the vulnerable groups. So here there is a disparity. So with this story you will understand that how the rural people in the caste discrimination are being affected. Now let's see the poverty in India. How many people are living the life below the poverty line? So here if you see that every 4th person in India is very poor and living the life below the poverty line. But the proportion of the development, or the proportion of the poor people is not the same in every state. The proportion of the development is not the same in the every state. The success rate of reducing the poverty varies from state to state. Now why does it happen? Why there is a disparities between one interstate, that is interstate disparities? Why do you find this? So like Orissa, Madhya Pradesh and Bihar are the most poorest state in India, whereas Punjab, Himachal Pradesh, Jammu and Kashmir, West Bengal, Haryana, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, they are the more they are above the poverty line. They are the developed countries. Why there is a disparities between these interstates? Might be because this Orissa, if you'll see the graph, you'll definitely understand the difference why these people are below the poverty line and why these people are above the poverty line. The states, the people of the states are above the poverty line. You'll get. I'll just give you an example. You'll understand with that. The Kerala, they have looked after. They have concentrated more on the health and education. They have provided the proper health and education to their people. That is the reason why the people living in Kerala have developed their skills through the education, through the health, and they are able to earn more. So they are above the poverty line. In the same manner, the Punjab, they have adopted the green revolution in the agricultural field, and now they are able to do a very good kind of a cultivation. They are able to earn more, they are able to sell more, they are cultivating more, they are selling more in the market, they are getting more. That is the reason why the people over here are above the poverty line. If in a Punjab, Haryana, the same green revolution has been adopted, that is the reason why these states are above the poverty line. And if we talk about the West Bengal, these people, they have adopted the land reforms, and they have equally distributed the land among the farmers. There is no big landlords, no small landlords, so that these people are not taking the money from the money lenders. All the lands, they have adopted the land reform where the land is equally distributed, and each and every gets the equal chance of cultivation and equal chance of selling them in the market. That is the reason why even in the West Bengal we don't find the people living below the poverty line. So the adoption of the green revolution in the agricultural field has increased the development in these countries. That is the reason why these countries are above the poverty line. That is Punjab, Himachal Pradesh, Jammu and Kashmir, West Bengal, Haryana, and even the Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. If we talk about the Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu, they have given the food for the free, which resulted in decreasing the poverty line, because they have adopted certain policies which provide the free food to the people. So because of which the people are getting the 3-day meals, the people are above the poverty line in the Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. So certain policies have been adopted there, certain revolutions have been adopted in the certain state. That is the reason why these people are above the poverty line than compared to Orissa, Madhya Pradesh and Bihar. Now just have a close look at this bar graph and you will understand the poverty ratio in the interstates disparities. Why the interstates are having a disparities regarding the poverty line. As I have already said that many of the states have adopted the green revolution, many states have adopted the medical and the education facilities in their states. That is the reason why the people are having a good medical facilities, good education, people are having good jobs, people are having a good health. That is the reason why the people are above the poverty line in the some states, and the other states which are not adopting any of the green revolution, any of the reforms, any of the new techniques in order to produce anything, are leading the life below the poverty line. So here if you see the graph, the Orissa, Bihar and Madhya Pradesh is having the highest percentage of the poverty line. If you see, they are having around 47.2%, 42.6% and 37.4%, whereas compared to the Jammu and Kashmir, Punjab and Himachal Pradesh, they are having the less people, the percentage of the people who are living below the poverty line is around 3.5% in Jammu and Kashmir. Punjab, you are having only 6.2%. In Himachal, you are having 7.6%. In the same manner, you can see each state, the disparities between the people, the percentage of the people living below the poverty line. So the highest is 47.2, that is Orissa, and the other states are having the less percentage of the population living below the poverty line, and the reasons have been discussed that why these states are below the poverty line and why the states are having the less percentage of the population below the poverty line. Global poverty scenario. Now let's see the scenario of the poverty of the complete international countries. Now, according to the World Bank standard, the poverty ratio or the percentage of the population living below the poverty line in a developing countries has come down from 28% in 1990 to 21% in 2001. The World Bank standard of poverty line states that all the people who are living under the $1.9 per day lives in poverty. As I have already told you that the person who is not able to earn at least $1.9, then the person is said to be living below the poverty line. So the poverty has declined in most of the region of the world like China, East Asia, Pacific, South Asia, Latin America and Caribbean regions. Poverty in China and East Asia and Pacific region has declined more rapidly than compared to the South Asia. The rapid decline in poverty in China, East Asia and Pacific is associated with a rapid economic growth and huge investment in human resource development. Then the situation is very different in Sub-Saharan Africa, where the ratio has actually risen from 41% in 1981 to 46% in 2001. Poverty has reappeared in some former socialist countries like Russia, where officially there was no poverty before. The poverty ratio of India, as per the World Bank standard, appears higher than our national estimate of 26%. In the United Nations Millennium Summit held in September 2002, leaders from 189 countries signed a declaration pledging to reduce the number of people living below the poverty line as per the 1990 figure by 2050. Now let's see the causes or the various reasons for the poverty in India. So the first one is the prolonged colonial administration. The policies of the British colonial government shattered the Indian economy so much that it could not be revived until the 1980s, that is after the rebel. Then unabated population growth. The failure to promote both the required economic growth and the population control have been the main cause for the poverty today. And even the illiteracy. Illiteracy is also an important cause for the poverty in our country. Then disparity in the ownership of land holding. The unequal distribution of the land, lack of land resources and the failure in the proper implementation of the land reform policies have been the major cause of the poverty in rural areas. Then comes the unemployment. Lack of job security and unemployment are the other causes for the poverty in India. Then widening inequalities of income. This is a feature of high poverty. Money has been concentrating in the fewer hands, thus rendering the majority of the people are poor. Slow growth of employment opportunities. Despite the implementation of the various employment generating programs, our government has failed to provide the necessary employment opportunities. Social and cultural factor. In order to fulfill social obligations such as marriages, etc., and the religious ceremonies, people in India, including the poor, spends a lot of money, which makes some people even more poor. Steps taken by the government to remove poverty in India. How to come out of this poverty by a strong economy and good education, government has taken many initiatives in developing India and removing the poverty. The first one is Integrated Rural Development Program. According to this program, the main aim of this program was to support the rural people by providing them the subsidy and the bank credits. Jawahar Rozgar Yojana program or a Jawahar Gram Samridhi Yojana program. According to this program, the main aim of this program was to provide the infrastructure to the rural people so that they can generate the employment in their productive field. Now the next one is Employment Assurance Scheme. According to this Employment Assurance Scheme, it was planned for creating an employment opportunity during the period of disguised unemployment where there is no work in the agricultural season.
It was expected to lead the creation of robust economic and social infrastructure and address the needs of the people. Food for Work program. This program was first started in the areas where the states have been affected by the drought, like Maharashtra, Rajasthan, Orissa, Gujarat, and so on. The main aim is to enhance the food security through wage employment. Then Sampurna Gramin Rozgar Yojana. Now this Yojana was started. The primary aim of this scheme was the generation of the wage employment, creation of good economic infrastructure in the rural areas, and as well as a food provision and nutritional security for the underdeveloped people. Then the next Yojana is rural housing for Pradhan Mantri Gramin Awas Yojana. This yojana was started in order to provide the housing facilities to the people those who are residing in the rural areas. The similar program was also started by the Rajiv Gandhi known as the Indira Awas Yojana. Then the National Old Age Pension Scheme. According to this scheme, the old people who are above the age of 60 who does not have any kind of means of subsistence in order to earn their bread, the central government they provide them pension. Then the National Family Benefit Scheme. According to this scheme, they provide a certain amount to the members of the family who becomes the head of the family after the death of its primary breadwinner. Then the National Maternity Benefit Scheme. It is normally provided from 8th to 12th week before the birth of the child to the woman, and in the case of the death of the child, the woman can still avail it. Some other recent yojanas which has been started by the government in order to remove the poverty from our country. The first one is Prime Minister Rozgar Yojana. It was started in 1993. According to this Yojana, the people who are educated in the rural area, there the government will provide them money to start their own business. Then the next is Rural Employment Generation Program, which was started in 1995. This helped the people to start their own small businesses in the villages in the small cities. Above, both the yojanas are the same. Then the Swarna Jayanti Gram Swarazgar Yojana. This was started in 1999. This is also to remove the poverty line and provide subsidy on the cheap rates. Then Pradhan Mantri Gramodaya Yojana, which was started in 2000. Central government funds the state government to build schools, clinic, houses, etc. in the villages to fulfill their basic needs. Then comes the National Rural Employment Guarantee Act 2005, which was later changed to this MGNREGA. It is nothing but the same policies which has been changed to Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act. These are both the acts are same. Earlier it was called as NAREGA. Now it is MGNREGA. And under this, the government provides employment to the people of district for 100 days. This was started in 200 districts. One-third jobs are reserved for women. Now this is found in more than 600 districts. So if the government fails to provide the employment for the 15 days, then they get the allowances by sitting at home called as unemployment allowances as per this act. Now still, why, even after implementing so many yojanas, so many programs, why the poverty is still a challenge in India? The main reason is though the government has taken many steps to remove poverty, but there was always a problem of implementation. Every 5 years they come up with a new yojanas without implementing the first one properly. And every 5 year you get a new government into the power, and the new yojanas and the new promises, but never become successful because of the lack of implementation. No patriotism among the people, no interest for the rich to feed the poor. Less subsidy is provided by the government. Poor are not being employed. So these are the various problems still we are facing the poverty in India. Though many of the implementations have been made by the government, but still there are certain instability in implementing these programs. So here these are some important questions from the poverty as a challenge. So do try to answer it with the help of the given these PPTs, and I hope you can answer because each and everything has been discussed very clearly, and for each and everything the points and the explanation has been given very clearly. So I hope you people can answer all these questions which have been given to you all.